Hello everyone and welcome back to Yerkin English. Today we are going to be learning the topic of cohesive devices, and this is a part of the C2 level course. So first of all, what are cohesive devices? Cohesive devices are words or phrases that show the relationship between paragraphs or sections of text or a speech. So cohesive devices are used as connectors to connect different sections of text in either written form or in speech. So you might have heard of cohesive devices but just heard them in a different way. For example, cohesive devices are sometimes called linking words, linkers, connectors, discourse markers, or transitional words. So we overall have 8 different types of cohesive devices. The first one is for comparison. So comparison is the act of evaluating 2 or more things by determining the relevant comparable characteristics of each thing, and then determining which characteristics of each are like the other, which are different, and to what degree. So to make comparison in text, we can use these phrases, which are compared with and comparison with, in the same way / manner, similarly, likewise, or again and also. And then the second type of cohesive device is a contrast device. So what are contrast cohesive devices used for? They're used to show noticeable differences, and the phrases that we can use to make contrasts are besides, but, however, and contrast. Instead, conversely, it may be the case that certainly, also, likewise, naturally, nevertheless, of course, on the contrary, on the other hand, regardless, granted, like, different from, alternatively, still, whereas, while, yet, although, is it true that, despite, notwithstanding. So overall, we can just use cohesive devices to improve our speech and to make it sound more eligible and to make it sound more professional, because oftentimes in tests or for example, if you take your IELTS, then they could often give you more points if you use cohesive devices, because it shows that you know proper grammar and you know how to connect your ideas in a way that makes sense and in a way which sounds nice. So the third type of cohesive device is exemplification, which is just the process of exemplifying or giving examples to show evidence. So the cohesive devices you can use is as evidence of, for example, for instance, thus, to illustrate, such as, to show that, I mean, specifically, let us take the case of, and so on and so forth. And you can just use this to show examples. And me personally, if you have noticed my past videos for Yerkin English, you can often see the phrase, for example, used. And then the fourth type of cohesive device is a condition, which is just a premise upon which the fulfillment of an agreement depends on. So these types of cohesive devices are if, whether, provided that, as long as, and unless. So, for example, with a condition, unless I wake up at 7, I won't be late to school. And then the fifth type of cohesive device is inference, which is a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning. So these types of cohesive devices include if not, in that case, otherwise, that implies, and then. So then the sixth type of cohesive device is a summary device, which is just a brief statement or account of the main points of something. And you can use this as a conclusion, and just as an end in your ending paragraph, you will probably need to use a word like overall or in all, in brief summary, to summarize, and summary in short, and conclusion, therefore, in a nutshell, on the whole, to sum up, basically. So then, our seventh type of cohesive device is time and sequence, which just shows the order and the process. So these types of cohesive devices are after a while, afterwards, at first, at last, at the same time, while, first, second, third, thereafter, concurrently, soon as, before that time, finally, in the end, meanwhile, next, firstly, secondly, thirdly, in the future, subsequently, at that time, since then, so far, then, up to then, later, somewhat earlier, shortly, over the next 2 days, as long as, and last. Then our very last type of cohesive device is place and position, which just shows the physical environment of the object or whatever you're talking about. So which just shows the physical state of your text. For example, here you have a paragraph, and then here you have your second paragraph. And when you're referring to the first paragraph, you can say above something, something, something. For these types of situations, you can use the cohesive devices above, beyond, in the back, nearby, elsewhere, opposite to, behind, adjacent, here, near, there, far, to the left, below, in front, there, closer to, further on, to the right. And with that, our lesson is over. And thank you for learning with us. I really appreciate you taking so much time to watch our lessons, and it's been really fun making them. And with that, goodbye.